Alright, Jonathan here, and I'm in the basement, and I'm planning on doing a nice little stretch session. What I'm going to do for this is usually just my morning routine when I wake up. Usually try to eat something, drink some water, meditate a little bit, and then I usually go into a stretch routine like this. So we're just going to go into it. It'll probably be about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, but I'm just going to go through my routine stretches. So if you're at home right now, you can easily stand up pretty much anywhere and do this, so I encourage you to follow along. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the head. We're just going to go in rotations. Start by going to the left side. We'll do about 10 or so. Stop. Now switch directions. And you don't have to go that fast. You can go nice, slow, and controlled. Really want to extend with your head and see how much you can feel the stretch kind of with every angle. Okay, now we're going to move down to the shoulders. And what we're going to do is we're going to use both shoulders. We're going to rotate them in the same direction. So we're going to start by moving them forward and down, and then up and back. And during this time, you really want to feel everything that's going on, because this is going to work into developing coordination as well. So we're engaging all the muscles. We want to have a lot of control and extend as far as we can. Now we're going to switch directions. So really feel those shoulders push in and out. And if you can, try to keep your arms straight. And the only thing you want to be moving, if you can, and this is kind of tough, but try to just focus on those shoulders. Okay, now we're going to switch it up. Instead of moving both the shoulders in the same direction, we're going to do opposites. So one's going to be moving back while the other one's moving forward. Now we're going to switch directions the way we're rotating. Okay, stop. Now we're going to move to the elbows. So we're just going to form nice circles, circling in. And as we do all of these stretches, and as we go through this, focus on your breathing. Take nice, deep, controlled breaths in, smooth exhales out. All right, we're going to switch directions. We're going to rotate the other way, moving to the outside. Okay, now we're going to move down to the wrists. So we're going to, again, form nice circles. And what I like to do is I like to extend my hands. So extend my fingers and try to keep this palm straight. Now this is going to be tough at first. Your hands will want to curve in like this. So straighten those hands out like this. And we're going to just perform nice rotations, circling in. And you can rotate around the forearm right here. And we're going to switch direction, go in. And now this might be tougher than what you initially thought, because it is, most of us aren't training this flexion right here in rotations and trying to keep the palm straight. And this is going to help a lot when we're going into Kung Fu poses. If you want to start learning Kung Fu and different things like that, or having good form with the hands. All right, now that we've moved through the arms, we're going to go back to the chest. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go expand the chest. We're going to pull the shoulders back, expand the chest out, and then we're going to pull it in. Pulling the shoulders in. And we're going to do this with our breath. So as we open up, we're going to inhale. As we close, we're going to exhale. Okay, now we're going to shift from side to side. So this is going to kind of work our lower gate here, but we're going to rotate, just go from side to side like this, keeping the shoulders straight, trying to keep everything in the same position except for this upper gate right here. Now this kind of stuff also helps with isolation movements. So if we're going into dance or we want to look cool, we can isolate the head movement. We can just rotate with here. So that way we're getting a lot of control and coordination as we warm up. Okay, now we're going to do rotation. So how we start off by expanding and closing, we're going to add that with the side-to-side movement. So we're going to open up, go to the side, close in, go to the other side, open up. Now we're going to switch directions. So we're going to go to this, close in, go to the side, open. Now this one's going to be really weird at first, but as we train it each morning, we get easier and easier. You're going to develop a lot of coordination that you didn't have before. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue our way down. So what we're going to do is really focus on the twisting motion here, because we've been working very linear. Now we're going to rotate a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our arms as well. And I got this from Kung Fu. Our teacher Sifu Kisu taught us this one. It's a really good one that I like to add in. So we're going to start with our hands, clasp position in front of us, and we're going to slowly move down. So as we rotate, we want to keep the hips square. So we just want to rotate the upper body and the shoulders. We want to feel the stretching and lengthening here. So we're going to rotate here, pull the arms down, clasp up together, and then go down. Rotate, do the same thing. Now you might notice that it's pretty tough to just isolate here, so it just takes some time, practice. Okay, now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to working this hip area, the lower back, and the stomach. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands, reach up to the sky, bend down as we pull our hands down close to our chest. And as we bend forward, we want to make sure not to curve the back like so. We want to keep this nice and straight, almost like we're doing a hollow position with our body. And we're going to go down nice and smooth, just as far as we can. You should feel this nice little warm-up stretch here. And we're going to come up again. And what you should notice is that after you keep doing this, even just in the session, you'll be able to go a little bit further each down time. So that's what we want to aim for, is consciously going just a little bit further, really seeing how far our body will allow us to go. Okay? Now we're going to focus on the hips, and what we're going to do is instead of bending forward, now we're going to just go side to side with the hips. So we're going to really push the legs side to side. Should feel it right in here as we're pressing out, rotating here. And if you want to get really deep into it, you can kind of bend with the knees, so you can bend a little bit right here, so you're really extending into that hip, seeing how far we can go into it. Now we're going to do rotations. So we're going to go front to back, huge circles. We're going to start by going to the left. And again, as we do this, try to go deeper and deeper with each circle. But nice and controlled. You don't want to feel any pain. It's just a nice little warm up, a little stretch. Just engaging all of our muscles, seeing where we're at. Okay, now we're going to switch directions. Okay, now we're going to do figure eights. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one hip, dip it in. So what we're going to do is dip in my left hip. I'm going to push my right hip forward. So it's going to be a rotation of the hips. So we're here, diving in, going to the other side, and then we're switching the hip rotation and coming back. So we're going to be driving with the outside hip. Should feel really good. And then we're going to switch directions. So now we're going to be driving with the back hip. So we're going to start in this direction. Okay, stop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some nice just little squats. We're going to work this whole chain of movement right here. And again, with this squat, we want to try to go nice and slow, controlled, keep the back straight. And we want to try to go down as far as we can. You can put your hands out in front for balance. Just go nice, slow, controlled, go all the way down. If you can, go all the way to the full squat and then come up. If you can't go all the way down, that's completely fine. No big deal, just go down as far as you can. And for these, you want to have your weight shifted to the balls of your feet. You don't want to lift your heels up, so you don't want to do this, but you just want to feel the weight in the balls of the feet. This is where we're going to have the most control. This is where we're going to have good balance. And this is where we're going to be able to use our full ankle joint, so that way we're putting less pressure on the knees. Okay, once we've done those squats, now we're going to move down a little bit further. And what I like to do is just form nice little knee circles. Just get the knees nice and warmed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our feet together. What we're going to do is we're going to go nice circles here. Start off by going to the right side. Remember, again, most of the weight is going to be on the balls of your feet, taking that pressure off your knees. Now we're going to switch directions. Okay, now we're going to spread our legs out. Same thing, so now we're going to go in and out. So we're going to start by rotating in. Now switch directions. Okay, now we're done with that. We're going to go to the ankles. Just extend your foot out, hold a nice little bounce, and we're going to form nice circles. We're going to rotate to the left side first, or to the right side first. Smooth circles. Really extend with that ankle. See how far you can extend with it. And try to do it nice, slow, and controlled, so you're feeling every little contraction. You have full control. Now we're going to switch directions. Go back the other way. You don't want to go real fast, because then you're missing out on the muscle contractions in between. And that's going to take away from your coordination with your ankles. This is also a great exercise for strengthening your ankle joints. All right, now we're going to switch feet. Switch directions. Okay, stop. So we basically went through each of these joints, at least the major ones, and we went kind of slow through it just because I want to be more detailed. We can go faster later on, but now we're just going to do a few basic stretches. And what I like to do with the stretches is to continually move with them. And what I've noticed through my own experience and through the research I've been doing, this has really helped a lot for my flexibility, more so than static stretching. and it's felt a lot stronger with my body. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our legs kind of split. And I got this one from Kung Fu, and what we're going to do is we're going to do lunges. So a little bit wider, pretty wide. And what we're going to do is we're going to dip down to one side. So we're going to go down to the left side, keeping the hips square, using this leg to extend here, having the foot facing or pointing towards the front. Dip as low as we can, come back to center, go down the other side. Now what I like to do is I like to bring my hands over, because this is what we would be doing for a Kung Fu position. So if we went from this stance into a punch here, so what I like to do is go here and then come back up and switch. And what you'll notice as you do this, incorporate it with your breathing, you're going to notice you're going to be able to go a lot further down in each one, especially if you consciously try to go down further and further. And you want to have your hips tucked in. So that way, this is all aligned. Everything's going to be aligned. You have really good balance here. Because if you're out like this, you're going to be off balance. Your weight's shifted forward. Your form's going to be bad. You're probably going to curve here. So what we want to do is tuck this in, have a straight line, go back and forth. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. And this one has really helped a lot for getting the splits. Okay, now we're going to get in a downward dog position. So we're going to be like so. Of course, this one taken from yoga. What we're going to do is keep the feet nice and flat on the ground. And then all we're going to do is we're going to press back into with our hips. So push back as we extend our arms. Really try to get these arms close to your ears so you can have a nice line here. And then we're going to go forward, except we're going to go all the way through. We're going to rotate all the way through into position here. Nice and slow. And then we're going to come back from the knees. Come back. Rotate, not rotate. Pull the hips back up. Go back into that starting position. Do it again. So we're here. Dipping the hips down, keeping the arms straight. As we make contact, we're going to rest on the knees. Come back to the child's pose. Come back. Just do nice and slow. And here, on this position, really arch. Stick that head up. And then we're going to lift the hips back up. Come back in. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to step our legs forward. We're going to start with the left leg. We're just going to reach it forward as we come up. We want to try to press if you can. Get a nice stretch going on here. Then move it back. Now from here, what I want to do is we're going to get onto our back, lay down, and what we're going to do is we're just going to kick our legs forward, and we're going to work on getting our splits in all directions, but we're going to do it from a lay down position, so that way it's not as hard on the body. We're also building some nice strength, and we're not relying on gravity to push us into the stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend our leg up, start with the right leg, pull it up as high as you can, bring it back down. And we're going to flex the toe like so we can really feel that stretch for the start. Do about 3 of those, and then we're going to switch. We're going to point the toe. Okay, now we're going to switch feet, move to the left, again flex the ankle. Really see how far you can go, try to keep that leg straight. Now we're going to flex the toe. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to move both legs up, and what we're going to do is we're going to work on the splits action here. So we're going to take our legs, and we can start off, let's start off flex, keep it congruent, and we're going to move the legs down just as far as we can, keeping them aligned straight, and then come back up. Now this one's really weak for me, but that's what we're doing. It's gotten a lot better though. Okay, now we're going to point the toes, and for this, I want you to perform circles. So we're going to go down, lower the legs, pull them back together, and come back up. And make sure you keep that back in the ground. All right. I'll complete that, and we're gonna do one more because I know we're probably we're going pretty long, and I don't want this to take up too much time. This last one, we're gonna be starting with our arm forward like so, and we're gonna dip down, circle through, and then come back up. So this left arm's gonna be behind us, right arm in front. We're gonna dip down. We keep this back straight. Dip down, circle, switch sides. And now this one is going to help a lot for butterflies, butterfly twists, and developing this full chain of movement right here. Make sure to have that breathing, good deep breaths. Feel every muscle contraction. On this last one, go nice and slow. Almost like you're going in slow motion. Alright, so that's just a nice little warm-up. Usually do a variation of that in the morning. Sometimes I'll switch it up. But this is just a nice one to do every morning, right after you wake up, after you get a nice drink of water, maybe some fruit, something simple. Do this routine, feel a lot more energy. It's going to really help with flexibility. Doing this every morning has increased my flexibility tremendously. So I hope you tried it out with me. If not, do it later, and I'll see you back on the wall.